When you think about it, the human mind is probably the most powerful gift we have. It can build wonders, it can create beauty. But if we leave it unchecked, that very same mind can turn into our most dangerous weapon. Let's dig into how that happens.
The great epic, the Mahābhārata, it's not just some old story about a massive war that happened thousands of years ago. It's actually a deep metaphor for the battle that's going on inside every single one of us. Right now, that constant tug of war between our better nature and our lower impulses.
And right at the very center of this epic, there's this incredible conversation. It's basically a timeless roadmap for navigating our own inner battlefield. It's called the Bhagavad-gītā, and it's really a masterclass in understanding and mastering the mind.
So how do we lose this inner battle? Well, the Bhagavad-gītā lays out this shockingly precise chain reaction. It shows exactly how one tiny little thought can start a domino effect that spirals into complete self-destruction.
See, it all starts so innocently. We just think about something. We let our senses focus on an object. It could be a person, a fancy car, a promotion at work. We're just contemplating it.
But when you keep thinking about that thing over and over, that simple act of contemplation starts to build something else. Attachment. The Sanskrit word for this is sangas. That thing you were just looking at, it's not just an object anymore. You start to feel like you need it. You start to cling to the idea of it.
And right on the heels of that attachment, this intense longing is born. We're not talking about a casual want here. This is a powerful, burning desire, what's called kama. You feel like you have to have it.
So what happens when that fire, that intense desire gets blocked? When you don't get the thing you're so desperate for? Well, almost without fail, that burning desire morphs into its dark twin, anger, krodha.
And this is where things really start to go downhill, fast. Anger is like a thick fog that rolls in and just completely messes with our judgment. The state is called samaha, or complete delusion. You literally can't see things as they are anymore.
Now, under this spell of delusion, our memory gets all scrambled. We start to forget who we are, we forget what we stand for, we even forget the basic difference between what's right and what's wrong.
And once that memory goes, our intelligence, our buddhi, that little voice of reason and good judgment inside, it's just gone. It's like the captain of your ship has just jumped overboard in the middle of a storm.
And with no captain, no guiding intelligence, well, the final step is pretty much a given. We fall down, straight into a state of total ruin. It's a total collapse, and it all started with just a single thought. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. The Mahābhārata gives us the perfect real-world case study. A guy named Duryodhana. He just kept thinking about the Pandavas' amazing palace. He got attached to their power, and then he desired it with everything he had. And when he couldn't get it, his envy just exploded into a rage that led to delusion, a catastrophic war, and his own complete destruction. It's the chain reaction, step by step.
And here's what's absolutely wild. Thousands of years after this was written down, modern science has basically given us a window into the brain that shows this exact same process happening.
So the big question is, what's actually going on up there? When this ancient chain reaction kicks in, what does that look like inside our own heads when we lose control?
Okay, so Dr. Dan Siegel has this brilliant way to visualize this. It's called the hand model of the brain. Just imagine your fingers are your upstairs brain. That's the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic, reason, and controlling your impulses. Now, tuck your thumb inside. That's your downstairs brain, the limbic system, your emotional core. When everything is going well, the fingers are closed over the thumb. The thinking brain is calmly in charge.
And this, right here, is where it all just clicks into place. That ancient idea of buddhi, our intelligence, that lines up perfectly with what we now call the prefrontal cortex. And that moment where anger, krodha, leads to delusion, samoha, that's what neuroscientists call a limbic hijack. You've literally flipped your lid, and your emotional brain is completely taken over the controls.
All right, so seeing the problem is the first step. But the beautiful thing is, these wisdom traditions don't just diagnose the issue and leave you there. They give us powerful, super practical tools to stop this from happening, to really achieve inner mastery.
And the first tool is an external one, and it's all about something we do every single day. Talking. The Bhagavad-gītā gives us what it calls an austerity of speech, basically saying our words should have to pass through 5 really important filters before they ever leave our mouths.
Let's break these down. First, our words should be anudvega karam, which means they shouldn't agitate or upset people. Next, they have to be satyam, or truthful, but that's not enough. They also need to be priyam, which means pleasing or said in a kind way. And they have to be hitam, genuinely beneficial to the listener. And finally, the whole thing should be guided by swadhyayabhyasanam, which means cultivated by wisdom. Just think about it. What if you ran everything you were about to say through those 5 checks? That practice alone could completely change your relationships and your own inner peace.
Okay, so after working on our speech, we move inward to a set of practices known as sadhana. The best way to think about this is like strength training, but for your mind. You have practices like japa, which is the focused repetition of sacred sounds, and that helps to quiet all that mental noise. There's kirtana, or singing together, which creates this amazing shared focus. And then there's pranayama, or disciplined breathing, which has a direct effect on calming your nervous system. All of these are like doing reps at the gym to keep your thinking brain strong and in charge, even when your emotional brain is trying to flip its lid.
So in the end, what all this ancient wisdom and modern science is really telling us is that inner peace isn't some mystical far-off goal. It's actually the result of a choice, a conscious choice that we can make every single day.
There's this one verse in the Gita that just says it all so perfectly. We have to use our own mind to lift ourselves up, not to tear ourselves down. Because that mind of yours, it can be your absolute best friend, or it can be your worst enemy. And the power to decide which one it's going to be, that's entirely up to us. So the question to really sit with is this. In all the little moments of your life, when a desire pops up, when you feel that frustration building, what choice are you going to make? Are you going to train your mind to be your best friend, or are you going to let it become your worst enemy?